So I want to share with you this major aha that I got a few years ago that I want to share with you. If you're in your first year or two in the landscaping business, or if you're transitioning out of a job, or in the beginning stages, I remember having these horrible fears all the time that what if all of a sudden all the work dries up? What am I going to do? I'm afraid to go get a house or get a new truck or get a piece of equipment. I'm afraid to take the next level of responsibility or get on payroll or something like that, or do anything, because I was always afraid that all of a sudden somebody was going to shut the faucet off and I wouldn't know how to turn it back on. Like, it's that feeling of running in survival mode, right? And I think survival mode comes in different layers. Once you think you've got it solved, it goes so deep into the subconscious mind, embedded into your nervous system, that you're not even aware that you're a puppet on a string in your own business and your own life, right? And I think true wealth and true freedom is the ability to, like Tony Robbins says, live in a beautiful state. He said he decided in advance that no matter what happened, he would live in a beautiful state. What a beautiful thing. That's true freedom, right? But nonetheless, here's the big aha that I had. And it didn't change everything. It was just the next step. And it's this idea of pulling levers. Like, you can pull certain levers and get certain results, right? Well, imagine if you're blindfolded in the forest and you're running around and you're just in survival mode, and you pull a lever and then something bad happens, and you don't know why, but you know something bad happened. You're learning, right? You have so many lessons to learn in real time that it can get overwhelming. And when you are on your entrepreneurial journey, people around you who aren't on that same journey as you are, that don't understand what you're going through, can look at you like you're schizophrenic and start fights with you, and you can become defensive, and they don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. But just know that you're not alone. Okay, so you're in the forest like this and you pull a lever and something good happens, but you still can't articulate why. So you don't know how to keep repeating that, right? Well, you can even be swamped with work, abundantly swamped in work, and your phone ringing off the hook. But because you're in a scarcity mindset, you're running around taking every single job, anything that you can get, whether it's good paying or low paying, you don't know. Hear those birds? I love birds. So when you're in survival mode, you don't I'm fascinated by the brain and how it works, how like a pendulum you can fluctuate back and forth from fear and anxiety and then be in survival mode to complete abundance and tranquility. Do they call that bipolar? It's got to be bipolar, right? So at some point I realized that, oh my God, the work is not going to stop coming in. And even if it slows down for a minute, another big wave is going to come. So when there's like a low point, you don't freak out. Because if you waste that time freaking out, another wave is going to come. And then now you don't have the energy for that wave of work and requests for your services because you wasted energy being stressed out during the lull. The biggest thing was learning marketing and advertising. When you learn how to do that, it's a lever that you can pull that makes your phone ring all the time, no matter what. So at some point, I realized, wait a second. So I'm like running in place like a rat on a wheel, and all of a sudden I just stopped. I go, wait a second. So even though your conscious mind knows something is a certain way, or this belief is not true, it's false, you logically know that, the unconscious mind will still hold the repetitive emotional thought patterns of survival mode as if it were true, right? It's like cognitive dissonance. But you have to fight to overcome that and say, wait a second. I know how to do this now. I know how to make my phone ring off the hook. The work is not going to stop. I'm never going to run out of work. And as a matter of fact, I could expand. I could do more. I could raise prices. So that's the next level, is Now that you realize, okay, the work's not going to stop, you're always going to be busy. If you raise prices, you're going to lose the customers that you do have, all right? So you have to like get out of all of it and step back and look at the data and look at the numbers and look at it for how big this thing actually is, and you're just swimming around collecting little minnows. Oh my God, there's not enough. You're in the ocean of water and you've only got a little thimble. This is only enough water. It's just in a thimble. Oh my God. Lawn care millionaire Jonathan Bottlenecks said something really interesting in one of his videos. He said that if you know how to market and advertise, there's so much work out there that you can expand to infinity. The bottleneck will always remain finding the people to execute and get all the work done. That's the bottleneck part, right? And to me, it's that plus the man-hour rate. Reverse engineering the science of how do you look at the amount of leads coming in versus the amount that you're closing, so you can increase your pitch and your close rate and your positioning, everything that you're doing, so then you can get all the jobs that support the infrastructure of a legitimized business that has the amount of cash flow and profit margin for expansion. So when I'm on the phone with my buddy Joshua Latimer, he's like, no, Keith, no, you have to start from the end and then reverse engineer your way back to the beginning of what you want your business to look like, and then figure it out. And it never made sense to me, and now it does. But the problem is we don't sit down and do all this stuff because we're so busy running on the wheel that we're afraid to get off the wheel for a minute and just look at everything, because the wheel stops. Why? Because that's what you are. You're self-employed. When you're not on the wheel stops. Even if you have a couple crews, if you stop, the whole thing could blow up. But you got to put systems. But you can't put systems and put infrastructure into the business without enough profit margin, right? You need deal flow and profit margin to afford the sustainability to pay everybody. And then the more you grow and expand into that is now you need an employee onboarding systems, and then you need training systems. You need all the paperwork and all the protocols and all the contracts, and now you need a secretary, a human resources department. Now you need a payroll. Ooh, my lens. You need a payroll. Like, how the hell are you supposed to do all of this when you're still operating in small survival mode, right? So one thing that I can say for sure that is very challenging if you are in a part of the country or the world where you have winter and summer is in a seasonal business. It is very, 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 very hard to expand unless you really have good mentorship and know what the hell you're doing. I've been struggling with this for years. So we're talking about it's soaking wet. It's like Niagara Falls opens up and it's just a rushing river of work just drowning you. Then all of a sudden it just shuts off, like, and then it's bone fucking dry and there's nothing. Nobody even cares that you exist. And then all of a sudden the spring comes. It's like you're in an electric chair, right? And you're all tied up like the movie Shocker. And then the dude with the mask on just turns the voltage on to, like, 400,000 volts. And you're just getting fucking electrocuted. And then he shuts it off. Boom. And you're like, and you're just sitting there with fucking smoke coming off of you. Please, no more. And then by the time you fucking recuperate in the winter, you're so fucking depressed and you're like, spring, please come. And then the spring doesn't just slowly come. This motherfucker turns on the electrical, turns it on full blast. And then winter comes, it shuts it off. And this is insane, man. This is the landscaping business. I have friends that have been in this business like 20 years longer than I have, or you have probably. And these motherfuckers are still running around trying to get employees to show up to work. They're doing 300, 400, 500,000, still going through the same bullshit. And then you listen to these business coaches on their podcasts, and they're like, well, you have to create a business company, a company culture. Yeah. Joe's Landscaping, the most prestigious professional place to work in the country. We provide, this way we provide. You can go weed whip that fucking lawn for about 6 hours in the burning sun, and I'd be lucky to get a 30-minute lunch break. And when you're done, go edge that entire apartment complex, yeah? Yeah? And you ain't allowed to touch the fucking rider for like 6 months. Anyways.